What a series, guys. What a freaking series. What a frustrating day. Like, disappointing. It's so much less disappointing when you're so far away from your goal and you're like, okay, I have to keep working. Versus when you were right there and you just threw it all away. You were winning. Like, if not now, when? If Billy plays like this and FlyQuest plays like this and we still lose, like, when are we ever gonna beat them? When when? We had an incredible, like, to be game one was such an incredible game. Um, the Sejuani game everyone's gonna talk about, like, inspired Sejuani was phenomenal. Like, actually, just incredible. Probably the best Sejuani game I've ever seen. It's just so frustrating, man. Ah, and like, why am I still awake? Um, I don't even know. I don't even know, man. Why do FlyQuest do this to me? That's the real question. Why did they do this to me? Why could you just not close it out? Like, game two was okay. I act I asked Busio, why are we picking Callista when it just hasn't won a single game in MSI? It just keeps losing, and we keep picking it, and it keeps losing, and we keep picking it, and it doesn't even look good. And basically, he said like, oh, people don't understand Callista, but you lost with Callista. He's like, it's not an early game champion anymore. It's really good at stacking objectives. You didn't do that. Nobody does that with Callista. Everybody loses every objective with Callista. And it's really good at like this and like every single point of power. And he was like, oh, but if you make one mistake, the game's over. So why are you picking compositions where if you make one mistake, it's over? Like, why? Why? Why are you doing this? And then game three, they pick the Rise, they pick the GP, they pick the Senna, super absolute mega scaling. And then what do? They get a lead, and then they take every single fight with like the worst items known to man. Callista Renata is another Jace. I mean, it's just so frustrating to see. Like, you pick a team fight comp, like a scaling comp, and then you don't let it scale, and you take every single fight. And then guess what? When Masu actually hits 100 stacks, you're down 9,000 gold or something stupid like that. And guess what? The fights are close. You're winning. Like, forget the fact that they threw game three, right? Like, if Buppo ults the Nexus, if they like kill Mbessa Fur, like, there's so many different things they could have done to win game three, right? But just the fact that they were in that situation with a completely outscaling team composition, you're going up against Ari, Vi, and Bessa as a GP, Rise. Like, Rise, when he gets his first item, has to wait 10 minutes for it to be useful. Lack of composure, same with C9 in finals. It was just like, you have the scaling composition, you had the early game lead, you had everything you could want, and then you decided, hey, we're gonna throw it all away. C9 wins that. C9 doesn't even make it there, bro. Like, let's just be honest. I don't think C9 wins that. I don't think C9 gets close. I think BLG are just FlyQuest have stuff that they do better than BLG. Whereas I think C9 strengths are also BLG strengths and BLG. I don't like to think of it that way, Crippler. Yeah. And game four, they play so what? Like, they actually like played to their composition. Busio was completely unlocked on the Bard, and it's like it gave hope again. You just gave us hope again, and I just coping. Yeah, it is. It's mega cope, and I don't remember who asked. I don't even think it was specifically about the draft. It was just like, what do you do to get better? And he was like, I think he asked like, what did you regret or something like that. I don't remember the question, but it was basically like, yeah, kind of game five with our bans. I think what did they ban? They banned the Braum. They banned the Caitlyn. No. They banned. What did they ban? They banned Yone third, right? They banned Skarner second, and they banned Nami. Yeah. They banned Nami as well, and then they like didn't ban the Galio or the Rumble because they're like, oh, they're gonna first pick Rumble. If they pick Rumble, we pick Galio, but then they just picked Galio and Rumble, and Whippa doesn't play Rumble, and they didn't want to give Busio Rumble because like Lucian Rumble like is a lane, I guess. I don't know. And they're like, okay, what are we doing to Galio? Let's pick the friggin' Zillion, and like Quant doesn't play Zillion. You could tell. I think C9 make it to this BLG match easy. Yeah, okay, they would make it to the BLG match for sure. Like you lose to AL, sure. You win, you beat G2. Like you're, yeah. I don't think that's too hard. Could we not have played Silas, Cassante, Smolder, or something? That's the thing. Like you could have picked so many different champions, and I think like I saw people pointing out like why didn't they just go on Ivern comp? Why didn't they first like just play Jinx? Like Masu plays Jinx. Just pick the Jinx, pick like Jinx Lulu or like Aphelios Lulu or something that has like good scaling power that you can fight with, and the Zillion is completely fine. And then you can you can do whatever you want. You can have Lee Sin or God like, or I saw actually Ivern, like you could go like the Ivern Leona is like a super powerful comp that they used FlyQuest used to make semi quarterfinals of Worlds. It's like, why didn't you just pull that out, the Ivern Leona? It's like, yeah, I know items have changed, like meta has changed, and clears have changed, and like you're playing against a different team who like could just like stomp your Ivern, and like they were playing Ivern in the beginning of the year, and Cloud9 kept beating their Iverns. Like, okay, maybe we shouldn't play Ivern because like it has clear weaknesses. So I get like the draft, but it's like if you don't beat BLG when they're at their lowest, this is the weakest BLG has ever looked. Like, when was the last time you looked at the world finalist, right? And you were like, oh my god, Inspired is absolutely gapping. He's having the best game of his life against, BLG, against the Asian team, and he's making them look like kids. Like, when was the last time that happened? Never. And like, you get into these situations where you're actually better at like certain aspects of the game and winning, and you have the compositions and you like chuck it. This wasn't a like a stomp. You had the winning cards in your hand and you threw. I think talking about game 5 is pointless. Game 3 is the real issue. You pick red, blue, you give Vi plus Knight's best Ari and throw on Nexus. Honestly, I don't even think the draft was bad. I think the draft was fine. Like, you were just scaling. You had the early game lead as a scaling team. All you do is just scale. Just scale. But you don't scale. You lose fight after fight after fight. You go down 9,000 gold, and then you've scaled. Finally, you have 3 items on Senna and GP and Rise, and then you're winning team fights. And it's like, well, maybe we didn't take all those losing fights. We wouldn't be 9,000 gold behind. We would be maybe only 3,000 gold behind, and all of a sudden we scaled. We have 100 souls on our Senna, and we win the game. But no, we had to like int that game so badly. I think being Lucian Lee Sin 1-2 was pretty bad. I don't want to take away the Lucian from Elk, but with Galio picked, I think they needed to restructure their draft priority. I think they completely collapsed Game 5 draft. Like, you could tell they did not expect the Galio first pick. They literally, that's what Inspire said. He's like, we didn't expect them to play like Galio mid. We thought they were gonna pick the Rumble, we were gonna pick the Galio, we are gonna have a good top matchup, and then go from there. And then he picks freaking Galio and Rumble, and you're like, okay, what do we do? And like, you only have so much time. Like, you have what, 60 seconds per pick? Like, you don't have that much time, or 45 seconds. You don't have that much time to like really draft, right? And if they get something that in Fearless they completely get out of your prep, which is like, okay, I'm sorry, but game 4 on blue side they banned TF, Lucian, Rumble, and then they wanted the Yone ban, they wanted the Skarner ban, they wanted the Nami ban, but then you picked Lucian anyways. Like, why? I know, why did you, why? I guess you couldn't stick with the same bans because then they could just pick Yone in this composition. And you don't have the Hui to answer. You don't have Tristana. You don't have his like. They still banned the Azir, so you couldn't use Azir. Like, Cassio was banned, Ori was banned. I guess yes, there's like a lot of things to consider in ban, and like you kind of got caught off guard and pretty much draft gap. But like, is this not just the Jinx angle, man? Like, it's game 5. What 80 carry do they have that can really like? You're fine playing Ashe into Jinx, like, or Jinx into Ashe. I don't know. It was so deflating for sure. But yeah, like you were saying, the game 3 was go Callista, man. Yeah, dude, I really, really, really do not buy Busio's answer. Like Busio's answer to why Callista was good was so bad. Like, let me just play it real quick. I'm not gonna play the whole press conference, but I just thought it was like it really was not. I was not convinced at all. I was not convinced at all. Mentioning Bippo trolling with Spellbook Rune on Urgot. I mean, honestly, we didn't even get to see the top lane because they completely got destroyed. Like it was like 15-1. And most of it wasn't even top lane. I think people died one time at that point. Like bot lane was dying over and over, mid lane was dying, jungle was dying, like getting invaded. So like we didn't even see what was happening for us to even see that. What did I miss? Nothing. Nothing, man. Nothing. Okay, wait. Let me.
This experience heading into LTA and World.
Okay, I think it was this one.
About the objective control.
Yes. Okay. So this is my question.
The
Okay.
On almost every game.
It wasn't even. I didn't have it asking to boost you. I asked to inspire, but they
did
asked
anything wrong. I think he was playing
Okay.
pretty well. I think they
Let's see
just
what he
made
shows.
quite a lot of mistakes as a team. That's why the series was really close. But we also made a lot of mistakes, so that's why we lost.
Next question from Cloud Sidkey. We see so many teams picking Callista and losing. It seems like a scrim god champ, but it doesn't seem to translate to stage, and losses are on almost every game. The community, analysts, and broadcasts can't seem to figure out why teams keep picking Callista right now. So could you guys tell us why Fly decided to go with Callista today?
Oh, he wanted to.
I mean, Masu's very, very good at Callista, and we're very experienced with the combo. And the public's perception of Callista is that she's like an early game champion, but that's not really it. If anything, she has a pretty weak first couple levels since the nerfs. Like her level 1 all-in used to be very powerful, so it was just guaranteed prio, guaranteed winning lane. But now she's actually quite weak level 1 compared to her previous power level. And
so why are we picking her? Why are we picking her?
Now she's more about the objective control because she's really strong because she is like a second smite almost, and she does
just go spellbook. You don't need that.
A lot of damage to anything, and she's very strong versus frontline. And
is she though? Is she really like? Is she really good into Ornn? You're telling me Callista's going good into Ornn, Rel, Pantheon? Really, really? I really like
those kind of comps that are frontline heavy, and then she also has the Callista ult that really enables her support to be strong in those objective fights. So if you can execute her early game and find a way to get to team fights, she's very, very.
You can't. No, we've seen nobody be able to execute the early games and find their ways into team fights with Callista. That's the problem. The problem isn't that she doesn't have hypothetical strengths. The problem is those strengths never get used because it's too hard.
Very powerful, but if you make honestly one mistake, it gets.
If you make one mistake, yes, let's draft a team composition. Let's draft a champion that if you make one mistake, you lose the game.
It's quite difficult, and that's probably why she's losing.
Then why are you picking her? My question wasn't why is she losing. My question was why did you pick her? Ay. It's so frustrating. It's so frustrating, man. I don't know what to say. We stomped them game 4. Let's just draft full finger diff comp and smash early game. No big deal. I mean, like I said, game 5 they kind of just got outdrafted. Like they didn't go in with the idea we're gonna pick Zillion here. They went in the idea with like we're gonna open Rumble, we're gonna pick Gallium into it, and then when that went to Crumbles, the entire comp kind of just like fell apart. By the way, with information from today, what do you think the BLG versus AL matchup is? Ooh, I think AL win. I think AL 3-1. AL 3-1, yeah. They will learn from game 3 throw. They did. They definitely like improved from that, right? That's the other thing. Like teams adapt between games as well. Those losses stick with you, but being so stubborn, locking Callista when a 0-8 is concerning. Yeah. If this was a 1-on-1, I would have pushed him a lot more. I'd be like, okay, so why do you guys pick it if it's one mistake and you lose the game and it's so difficult? Like, why are you guys picking champions where you're not allowed to make mistakes? Your first game, you picked Ezreal, which is like a champion who has so much forgiveness, right? Obviously mechanically difficult because you have to hit your Qs, which is very difficult in a professional match. But you take it away from Elk. I understand why they picked Ezreal, but like, it's just worlds apart when you're playing Jinx versus Callista. Like, I don't. The power level isn't even the same. Honestly, I feel for you. Yeah, Game 3 will haunt me for months. I'm sure that's how Team Liquid felt after losing LTA finals or LCS finals last year. Like they must have been so crushed. Oh, this is probably how Cloud9 fans feel. Like even if you go for Seraphine, would have been better than Kalista. Why didn't you do the Ashe Seraphine? You literally pulled out Ashe Seraphine at Worlds last year. I guess it was Seraphine mid, right? But like you have these compositions that you've played. I guess maybe you haven't practiced it. Actually, maybe Seraphine game 2 doesn't look too great. Like Seraphine into Ornn Pantheon, Rel, like Victor Corki. It does look kind of scary actually. But for game 5, I was thinking, why didn't we pick the Ashe? I guess they were worried they would play Lucian Milio if we played Ashe. But then we went Lucian Leona because we didn't have an engage from the jungle or mid lane, so we couldn't pick Lucian Milio. We had to pick Leona, but then we have Leona, so now we don't have Milio, so Ashe is so much more effective. Yeah, it was just Emilio's like good into Shen as well, good into Galio, like Emilio's good into Nocturne as well. Like, yeah. They're just if they pick Milio, they already went Lee Sin, right? So then they're just completely screwed. They have no engage. And then Whipple has to play like Ornn is out, Sion is out. You have to play Cho'Gath. Cho'Gath has no engage. Volibear is not really engage. What other top lane tanks does he play? And Bess is gone. He played Renekton. Like Sion, Aatrox, Ornn, all these champions are gone. What are you gonna play into Rumble? That's a tank that can engage. Like you can play Mundo, but that's not engaged. It's more of it's not really a tank. Yeah, it's pretty much like Gragas. You could maybe look for a Gragas angle, but Gragas in the Rumble. Well, Gragas was banned actually 4-5. Never mind. So even Gragas wasn't an option. I don't even know what Bupa can play. Like I think at that point you're just done. It really was draft gap, huh? Yeah, it was like complete draft gap. Oh man. It's just it sucks that game 2 and 3 were winnable. In game 3, they just didn't play to the team comp. Game 2, they pick freaking Kalista, make one mistake and lose the game. Like it's like you could see they were fighting. Wukong was getting doubles. Like they were absolutely fighting. And it's just like just give them the tools, please. Uh they shouldn't pick Lee. Just go Lucian Milio or Lucian Nami and draft around them. I think they had to pick Lee though. Because then if they don't pick Lee, Beishwan goes Lee, and then what are you playing in jungle? Like Sejuani is gone, Maokai is gone, right? They played last game. Vi is gone, Zinzao is gone, Pantheon is gone, Wukong is gone, Poppy is gone, Trundle is gone. Like what? What do you can't like Lucian Melio with Nocturne? Like that's not the greatest. So what do you play in jungle, right? It was pretty much like Lee Sin was the highest prio jungler at that time. It's not like he plays Briar, right? Because honestly, like could have been a Briar angle, but yeah, it's just you're put in such a situation where there's so many limited champion pools. Um, so it's like, what do you do? Like, I'm looking here. You could look for a Viego angle, but again, engage problem, right? If you're one Emilio, Skarner was banned. The FlyQuest banned Skarner. Nunu, maybe a Nunu angle, like maybe Nunu, maybe who else? Who else has like engaged that wasn't banned? I'm pretty sure that's like Zac. You could play Zac. I don't know that Spired plays Zac, but there's Zac, Nunu. Fiddlesticks is the last thing, but I don't think Fiddlesticks works very well in that composition. So then you have nothing. Like you straight up have nothing. Like it was game 5, so a lot of champions were gone, and it does get very very difficult. But I still think the Callista pick was like, I don't actually care about game 5 draft. Like whatever it happened, they picked Galio, it screwed you over. I don't care. But the fact that you pick Callista when it's consistently losing, and you can see any other AD carry wins that game, man. Seraphine AD carry wins that game, bro. Uh, oh, Amumu. I forgot about Amumu. You're right. Could they play Amumu? Could they have played Amumu with Lucian Melio? I mean, honestly, kinda. Um, they banned Nami, so they couldn't go Lucian Nami. Honestly, if BLG win MSI, it'll feel a little better despite everything. But right now, it's thing. Yeah, I mean, if BLG win MSI, I just feel like that's cope because like I think it would feel worse because you're like, oh, we almost beat BLG and BLG won. So like if BLG goes on to stomp everybody 3-0, you're like, oh, we could have made it all the way because like clearly we were hanging with BLG. I think Issue was flying picking 80 carries. Okay, I think Issue was Fly was picking 80 carries. I think based on taking it out of Elk's pool versus optimal team comp. That's true. I mean, they did do that very well though. Like game one, think about it. Game one, they took the um they took the Ezreal. They took um so they forced like Ezreal MF, so those are out. Zinzal was out. They took Sejuani. Like Sion was out, which I guess more of like a Bwipo the other way around. But like Nico was out as well. So they did take a lot of like good champions in the pool that they were trying to do. I can kind of see what you're saying, but like, oh, they went Kalista Renata because like it's strong and because it takes champions from Elk. But like, just give him Kalista, play Jinx, and you win the game. No, like I don't know. Maybe I don't know how matchups work. Um, Amu Inspired played a lot last year. By the way, BLG seem like they don't want to play Lucian or haven't practiced or something because they had very good spot for Lucian, especially in T1 series, and they still don't pick it. So I don't know. I don't know. I mean, Elk is a monster on Lucian, but I think he just preferred to play the Ezreal and Kalista those games. Maybe it's like a prio thing, like games 4 and 5 Lucian's opened up, but they didn't even make it that far, so could have picked Ashe and left Lucian for them. Yeah, I think the problem with that is that they would have went Lucian Melio, and then Ashe loses a lot of its power. So it's like, okay, well then we can't pick Lucian Melio, but they can. So then we have to pick the Lucian. Because they couldn't pick Melio, they needed Leona, they needed some sort of engage. I think that's that was the issue with them. Like the biggest problem was like their draft prep kind of got screwed by that Galio pick, and then they had nothing. They had nowhere to pivot because they had Lee Sin. Now you need the engage from the support. Yes, that maybe they could have went Amumu. Maybe they could have went like a Leona plus Ivern composition with you know Jinx. In that case, you could go Jinx instead of Lucian and give over the Lucian Melio, and you don't really worry about it because you have freaking Zillion, Leona, and Ivern. But then top lane's gonna get crushed anyways. I don't know. Like I said, game 5 draft I'm much more forgiving of because it happens. But the game 2 draft and like losing game 2 and 3 kind of sucks. Like it was really bad. The real question is there a realistic chance LPL looks this bad at Worlds and gives us a shot at semis? I'm not That's exactly it, Cripple Cross. That's exactly it. If not today, if today we didn't win, who says we're gonna have that opportunity? Like who BLG is the weakest of all the Asian teams right now. Like you can't say they're not. AL was going up against Gen G. Like AL's beat BLG, T1 beat BLG, Gen G are better. Like it really is just BLG. They're the weakest with the biggest gap in our best player in the West in Inspired against the worst Asian player that's coming out of Asia right now in Beishuan. Not to say Beishuan's bad, but like the biggest gap, and you saw that gap in game. And if today wasn't the day we win, if when they're the weakest, when they're bleeding, when they're already bleeding, you go into the game and they're 50% HP to begin with. They're not even 100% HP. They don't even have full HP. They have like minor armor shred. They have like full Black Cleaver stacks. And you still lose that fight? You still lose? Like, come on. It's so frustrating. It's so frustrating. It's so much more frustrating than like when you have a good team and the good team doesn't like just makes these mistakes that becomes so much more frustrating than if you're like Brazil and you're like, we got a game. Look at us. We're so cool. It's like, yeah. It's the pressure of expectations. If you're expected to go 0-3 and then you go 3-2, which we expected at Worlds, you're much more happy. But when you're expected, like, you can actually win, and then you don't because of the way it happened. You know, if it was been a Knight absolutely outplaying, you know, if Knight got his Jax and just absolutely Goomba stomp, like, found the amazing flanks, found like huge Oriana ults on with Knight, like whatever it was, if it was like absolute cinema from on Rakan or Elk just absolutely space gliding on Twitch, like whatever, if it was like the BLG smurfing like they did last year, then you're like, they're just better. Like, what can we do? But when you're the better team, you're playing better. You have better compositions. You're putting yourself in positions that you can win, and then you throw, and you play like this. Then it's like a case of like, we could have what? It's not like they smurfed up. We just didn't clutch it out. Game 5 draft was unplayable. Yeah, I mean we talked about that. It was lost in draft phase. It literally was just lost. Ivern Zillion and support too, like Leona, would lack a lot of damage as a comp. I don't think it works. If you go Ivern, you can't go Zillion mid. Yeah, maybe you go different mid. Maybe you go different mid. Maybe you don't go Zillion. That's true. Because then you don't have any AP damage, any AP like, so everybody can just stack armor, and then it becomes very difficult for Jinx. I still think like 6 item Jinx can like doesn't matter if you have full armor because it's Jinx, but yeah. How do you feel about Quad's performance today? I thought he played well. I thought like there was a lot of worry about him going up against Knight, and I thought he actually like stepped up, which is something I was worried about. Is like Quad knows that he has nerve issues, and it seemed like he dealt with them pretty well last year. Even going to Worlds and facing Chovy and all that stuff. But I was a little bit worried this year, like playing on the stage. He didn't look very comfortable, and I was worried that he was gonna have like performance issues and anxiety. But he came today. His away game was great. He I thought his any game was good. Like it wasn't phenomenal or anything, but he didn't like completely get destroyed by. Okay, well the Zillion game was bad, but like it was his first time in Zillion, so happens, right? Just throwing game 5 out of the window for right now. I thought the first 4 games, like he didn't get mega Goomba stomped by Knight. That's pretty much like he wasn't winning lanes, he wasn't getting solo kills, but he when he was strong, and that's what you want. Zillion pick was just troll pick in my opinion. Galio being anti-mage, what does Zillion even do in lane? I think it was the only thing they could find. Like that's what they said. They didn't have an answer to Zillion except like, oh, yeah, I don't think it was a lane counter patty. I think basically what they said, if I'm not mistaken, was in team fights, they like the counter to Galio is Zillion because he can res someone, he can speed someone outside of the taunt range. So the idea is like Galio can't engage on you, he can't get on you because you're so fast. That's like what I understood. It wasn't necessarily a lane thing more than it was like a 5v5 thing. Genji BLG, I guess 3rd time the charm next Worlds. Oh, you mean going 5 games with Genji, then going 5 games with BLG? Yeah, maybe in Worlds they go 5 games with T1 but win, right? Or AL or whoever ends up making. Maybe IG makes it. They win. Couldn't they try like Yasuo mid with Diana jungle? I don't know. You have to remember, like, Lee Sin is the highest prio jungler. I think them picking Lee Sin wasn't troll. I know a lot of people were saying it's troll. I think the reason they pick it is because they know that BLG are going to pick it, and it's like the best fighting jungler that's up. But that kind of forced them into Leona, so maybe they could have given the Lee Sin and played the Yasuo Diana, but then you're playing. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they could have, but again, like, you have a game plan going in, and then of like multiple different options, right? And then you go in, and all of a sudden, all of your options are thrown out the window because they pick the Galio mid. And then you have 60 seconds to recover, and you're like, okay, I guess we're going Zillion. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. And then you go Urgot into the Rumble because it's like the only thing that he can play. Volibear is probably completely destroyed by Rumble. He probably can't play Kennen. Like, yeah, it's just frustrating. Because it felt like it was like, again, I'm proud of the boys. Like they played their hearts out. That's what you want to see. You want to see them keep trying and get better. To be able to challenge these Asian teams. But like when you have them on the ropes, you gotta give them that knockout punch. You can't make these, like, you can't do this. Nefiri jungle game 5 with immune W to taunts. Honestly, it could have been Nefiri angle actually. I forgot about Nefiri. Could have been Nefiri angle. Crazy was never picked. It seemed like it was completely losing prio like throughout Worlds. Even like the G2 game they lost, but G2 lost almost every game, so that's Yeah, it felt like people just kind of stopped playing Nefiri and realized like other champions are better. Like after the Nefiri nerfs, I don't know. Anyways, I'm really tired. It's late. You can tell I'm not very happy, but I just wanted to, after I let out a bunch of steam, to just give my thoughts. I know a lot of people are like super proud, and I'm not saying I'm not proud, but it's not good enough. When you have them on the ropes, it's not good enough to say, "Hey, we got them on the ropes." It's like, no, we're usually never in that situation. So when you're in that situation, you better give them the knockout punch, man. You better give them the knockout punch. Close is not close. Like close doesn't cut it. Close doesn't cut it. You can be far, but once you get close enough to give that knockout punch, and you don't give that knockout punch, it's hard not to be disappointed. Hard not to be sad. Still support the boys. Don't get me wrong, but it's hard. I'm sure they're the most disappointed people out of everybody because they knew they had those games in the bag. Game 2 and game 3, like those should have been a 3-0. It should have been a 3-0. They know they have those games in the bags. 3-1, whatever. They picked Callista, right? They lost game 2. It should have been a 3-1. But we keep saying it should have been. It should have been. It should have been. It has to be at some point. You have to win these games. Worlds has one more. Worlds, we have more than one team. Right? Yes, we have 2 teams. So if Black was to make it and Cloud9 make it, and then we'll have a Brazilian team as well. Or LTA South. It couldn't be a, Isurus or something, but yeah, Gen G series, I was proud. This BLG one, I'm disappointed. Absolutely Griffin Station. Like the Gen G one, we showed up to a giant. The BLG one, we shrunk to a giant. Like yeah, we just didn't give the final blow. We had it. Our fists were ready, but we just didn't give it. And it's gonna sting. It's gonna sting for a while, but we move on. We go to bed. What about Europe? How many teams? They get 3. Europe gets 3 teams. So all of LTA gets 3 teams, and the way it's split up is 2 of them for North America and 1 of them for South America. And then when it comes to Europe, they have their full 3 seeds. Korea and China will get 4 seeds, but it's going to be different. We're not going to see all 4 seeds at Worlds. Only 1 of the 4 seeds makes it to the games. So basically, you have 17 teams. So TLDR in the format: 3 teams from North America, from North and South America, 3 teams from Europe, right? 4 teams from Korea, and then another 4 teams from China. That's 14, and then 3 teams from LCP. That's 17. Where you're saying, hey, Swiss stage is supposed to be just 16 teams. What's going on? Well, what's going on is the 4th seed of China and the 4th seed of Korea play a qualifying match, kind of like what happened between Golden Guardians and BDS in 2023. We're gonna play they're gonna play a best of 5 single elimination, and then the winner goes to Worlds. And yeah, so only one of them is gonna have 4 seeds. Yes, Ian Arsenal. Ian's Arsenal. Yeah, I think that's what the name. You're right. LTA South gets 1 guaranteed seed. LTA North gets 1 guaranteed seed, and then there's 1 seed that like is kind of like an open, whoever can win it. But I'm just assuming that North is going to win it. That's why I said 2 from North, 1 from South. But technically, it's like 1 from North, 1 from South, and 1 wild card seed that can be any of them. Yeah, Ian. Oh, okay. We get AWC soon for Redemption. Oh yeah, you're right, Chronic. I forgot about that. EWC is soon. When does EWC start? Like the 13th or something? Let me look that up. I forgot about EWC. I guess because I'm not doing the interview, I didn't even check. EWC 2025 league. It starts the 16th. The 16th to the 20th. So it's literally starts today, like in 7 days. It starts in 7 days. Okay. Well, I guess they have to like get over their depression real quick and fly out to Riyadh, to Saudi. Flag goes against C9 or Hanwha Life. Wait, how's that possible? They should. Are you sure? That's how that works? But my understanding is Hanwha Life and Cloud9 are both 4 seeds. FlyQuest is a first seed. You're right. So FlyQuest will play either C9 or Hanwha Life. Oh, you're right. That's crazy. I want to see them against Hanwha Life. Not gonna lie. It's super soon. The players got a packed schedule. Yeah, that's crazy. I think it's like 2 to 3 days after MSI ends. Yeah, MSI ends the 12th, right? And then 13, 14, 15, 16. Yeah, it's 4 days. It's 4 days after MSI. LCP looks terrifying too. Hopefully EWC goes well. I don't know. Yeah, I could see EWC going really well because like we got C9 Fly at EWC. Yeah, C9 Fly, and then you have Flying Oysters Gam. You have Furia. Like basically everybody that made it to MSI plus Hanwha Life, right? Is Korea sending only one team? Are they not sending Gen G and T1? Or are they sending 3 teams? I'm confused. EWC. I'm confused if they. Oh, okay, I understand. The T1 and Gen G get a bye, right? Is that how it is? Because there's too many teams, right? Because there's one extra team. There's basically 10 teams, right? 2 from each region. There's 5 regions. And then you have Furia, which is 11. And then you have Hanwha Life, which is 12. Oh no, okay. I'm not really sure how it works, to be honest. I'll have to look it up later. I'm like really tired. I need to get to bed so I can work tomorrow. 3 teams. Okay, so the 3 Chinese, like 3 Korean teams, 2 Chinese, 2 European, 2 LCP, 2 LTA North, 1 LTA South. Now T1 Genji going to. Okay. I can't wait to see C9 internationally. Me too. I think EWC actually we're gonna do better. I think maybe the Eastern teams like that went further into the tournament have less rest time, so we have more rest time. So that, and like I'm hoping that is like a benefit to us, but it's also nice that we got all this practice, you know. So, the rematch. Hopefully, we see BLG. We beat them again. I want to see Fly. I want to see Fly Hanwha Life. I don't want to see Fly C9. That's the one thing. I really don't want us eliminating ourselves. I want to see Fly Hanwha Life. I don't know if there's a draw or like the matchups haven't been posted yet, but yeah. T1 goes because they were 2024 EWT champion. Makes sense. Yeah. You have a guaranteed spot. Top 4 MSI teams get a bye. Oh, that makes so much more sense. So it's an 8-team bracket. Okay, now I think I know how it works. It's an 8-team bracket. You have 2 first seeds, 2 second seeds, 2 third seeds, 2 fourth seeds. For some reason, Hanwha Life is a seed. So okay, so FlyQuest can only get Cloud9 or Hanwha Life, and then Flying Oysters gets the other one that they don't get, and then you have what's their name? G2 can either get Gam or Furia, and then same thing for Mad Lions. So Mad Lions is gonna play Gam or Furia as well, like one or the other. Dang, that's actually kind of lucky, no? Because then, what's the best match? Like, we don't get any NA versus EU, right? It would be cool if it was like FlyQuest versus, Mad Lions and Cloud9 versus G2. Like that would be, but that it wouldn't be fair to based on the seedings. Yeah, okay. I think I understand the format now. And then there's 4 teams that already get the bye, and then you have 4 and 4. Then you have an 8-team. Okay, makes sense. And it's an 8-team single bracket playoff. I'm assuming. Like you have a. That's what I'm assuming it is. Okay. All right. Thank you for explaining that, Griffin Station. Yeah, I'm literally falling asleep. I'm gonna go to bed. I'm sad. We'll get him next time. Don't send hate to the boys. Like, we can talk about it all we want, like between us, how we're disappointed. But when it comes to the boys, we just don't go and flame them. Don't tweet at them bad things. Like, if you're gonna tweet at someone or DM someone, it should be something like uplifting. You can tweet that like I'm disappointed in FlyQuest, but just don't at Busio, like I'm so disappointed in you. How could you do this? That kind of stuff. They don't need that. Community needs to talk about it because we're disappointed. But like, yeah, they don't need that hate. So we can get NA versus EU round 2. Hell yeah, we can smack them across the face again. But yeah, I'm gonna go to bed. Have a good night, everybody, or good morning. I think there's a bunch of Europeans here, so it's morning. Yeah. Good evening, morning, night, wherever you are, and I'll see you guys tomorrow after the T1 Genji matches. Oh, my prediction. I'm sticking with T1 3-2. I could see Genji 3-0ing. I could see T1 3-1ing. I could see Genji 3-1ing. The only thing I don't see is T1 going 3-0. I don't think that's gonna happen, but I could see literally any other thing. But I think if it goes to game 5, my money is on T1 because they're the protagonists of the world we live in, so of League of Legends. So you got to give them that respect. Anyway.